This is Matthew chapter 25 and verse 34. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come ye blessed of my father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. Right? So on that day, the day of the Lord, you're going to have the people who are going to get salvation are going to be the ones that are blessed, the ones that are going to get that salvation. Right? Now watch this. This is Revelation 22 and 14. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have the right to the tree of life, and may enter into this through the gates of the city. Right? So the ones who keep the commandments are going to be the ones that get in. Right? And again, what are the commandments? The commandments talking about the Ten Commandments, right? Those are going to be the people who get in, right? The ones who are keeping the Ten Commandments, right? It says,
I have one, but it's signed on the back by a sailor that was on the Yorktown and the Enterprise.
it says,
in the Missouri.
for I was hungered, and a matter of fact, it says, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world, right? So, and that's predestination, right? Because everybody who was destined and who are destined for salvation, they always been on that list for salvation. They've always been on that list. It hasn't changed, right? The Lord didn't magically just come up with this a few years ago, right? Since the beginning of time, he had the people who were slated for salvation to get that salvation, right? It's always been like this. It says, for I was in hunger, and you gave me meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. Naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and ye came unto me. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee an hungered and fed thee, or thirsty and gave thee drink? When saw we thee a stranger and took thee in, or naked and clothed thee? Or when saw we thee sick or in prison and came unto thee? And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of these least of these my brethren, ye have done it unto me. Right? So whatever you do unto people is coming back for you. Right? Whatever you do unto people is coming back for you. That's just how the scriptures work. Matter of fact, watch this. Ecclesiastes, matter of fact. Yeah, Ecclesiastes 24.
There's information over there. We need the information.
28. Ecclesiastes 28 and verse 1. He that revenges shall find vengeance from the Lord, and he will surely keep his sins in remembrance. Right? So whatever you put out is what you get back. Now we just said right here, somebody who wants revenge, they're going to get that. But it's going to be the Lord that's going to pay them back. Okay, the Lord, since you want that vengeance, you want that smoke, right? The Lord's going to say, why don't you eat it? Right? You drink that cup now. Since you want it so bad, drink it. You want it so bad, drink it. Let's see how it tastes. You want to put that on somebody else, let's see how you like it. It says, forgive thy neighbor the hurt that he hath done unto thee, so shall thy sins also be forgiven when thou prayest. Right? So it says, forgive the things that have been done unto you. Right? So when you go to pray for forgiveness, you can get that. Again, what you're putting in is what you're going to get out. So if you don't want to forgive, you're not going to get that forgiveness. Right? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You can't establish your own righteousness. You can't think, oh, I'm going to do all these videos, go to camp all these different days, right? I'm going to pay these men money, right? and I'm going to establish my own righteousness, right? I'm going to pay the Lord the way I want to pay the Lord, right? I'm going to show the Lord that I'm worthy in the way that I want to show him. No, that ain't it, okay? The Lord specifically wants us to worship him in the spirit, okay? That is the only way to do it. You can't just set up your own thing, right? You got to do what's already been established. You got to do what's already expected of us. You can't do your own thing. It says, one man beareth hatred against another, and does he seek pardon from the Lord? That's a rhetorical question. You're storing up all this hate for somebody else, but you're going to try to pray to the Lord for a pardon, forgiveness, and to be excused for something. How are you going to do that? How are you going to ask for forgiveness when you won't even forgive, right? You're trying to get this the same thing you want to get, you're not giving it out. The Lord ain't working like that, okay? Whatever you want, you gotta be willing to give it back, okay? Constantly. It says, he showeth no mercy to a man which is like himself, and does he ask for forgiveness of his own sins, right? So, if you're not going to show mercy to a man who's a man just like you, he messed up just like you, don't think you're going to pray to the Lord and get mercy. It's not going to happen, okay? You're not going to get mercy from the Lord if you don't want to show mercy, right? It is super simple. You treat people how you want the Father to treat you. All people, right? You treat all people how you want the Father to treat you. It's super simple. That's the gospel. Okay, that's that good news, right? That we all can, that everybody whose salvation pertains to can get it. The only thing they got to do is treat people how they want to be treated. That's the only clause in the contract, okay? That's the only one in the contract. It says, if he that is but flesh nourisheth hatred, who will entreat for pardon of his sins? So if you want to stir up hatred, right, nobody's going to forgive you for what you've done, because you're stirring up hatred, right? You can't even let things go. If you can't let something go and forgive somebody, why would the Lord forgive you? You don't want to forgive this man who messes up just like you, right? But you want the Lord to forgive you, and a man, you being a man want forgiveness because you messed up, but you can't forgive this man over here, right? You can't forgive this man over here for what he's done. But you want to seek forgiveness since you're just a man. It don't work like that. Whatever you want to get out, you gotta be willing to put it back in, and constantly doing it, right? Constantly doing it. It says, remember thy end, and let enmity cease. Remember corruption and death, and abide in the commandments, right? Stand in the commandments, okay? That's going to be your guide. That's going to be your light, okay? That's what's going to put you on the right path, right? When you're keeping the commandments, okay? That's what's going to because we know that I believe it's Jeremiah 17:9 tells you that the heart is deceitful above all things. So your mind can play tricks on you, right? But what's always going to stay the same is the commandments, right? The spirit. Those things are always going to stay the same. But your mind can play tricks on you. But the commandments, they're always going to stay the same. It says, remember the commandments and bear no malice to thy neighbor. So you gotta remember the commandments and not store up that hatred, not have the hatred. You can't do it, okay? Because once you're storing bad feelings, right? You feel like you've reached a place with somebody where there's no going back, right? Like if two brothers or anybody got into it, this should never be, oh, I'll never forgive you for this, right? That should never be words that come out of a person's mouth. I'll never forgive you for this. Because we've done the worst things imaginable to the Father, okay? Now with that being stated, we cannot turn around and say, oh, well, this person right here, I'm not going to forgive him for this, right? That's a setup. That's a setup. You're setting yourself up for failure, right? You say that's a blemish on your record, right? When you don't want to let things go, you want to store it in. That's a blemish on your record, not on the other person, on yours. You got two people who are upset at each other. One person forgives, the other one don't. The one who didn't forgive, the Lord is looking at him crazy, right? The Lord is going to be coming for him. This is verse 7. Remember the commandments and bear no malice to thy neighbor. Remember the covenant of the highest and wink at ignorance. So we gotta be willing to wink at ignorance, right? Somebody who's done wrong, you gotta be willing to overlook that. You gotta be willing to let it go, to forgive it, right? And this is what the Lord wants, and that's storing up treasures in heaven, right? That's storing up treasures in heaven when you forgive, right? When you reward good when you've been giving evil. That's how we store up treasures in heaven. Okay, that's what the Lord wants us to do. People want to know how to get to heaven. Well, that's how you do it. When you reward good and you've been giving evil, right? When you got forgiveness, mercy, compassion, that's how you do it. That's the hard stuff, right? That's the stuff. That's the real hard stuff, right? That's what the Lord really wants. But with that, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakal Kadash. Shalom.